off in this place, catching vibes, sit back and we blaze in the sky like I'm out of space.
What's going on, cigar world? What's going on, cigar enthusiasts? This is Jack the Cigar Enthusiast, and we're back with another virtual smoke deck. I'm your host, Jack the Cigar Enthusiast. Man, welcome back, guys. Last week I took off, and by the way, yes, we are missing our little. We don't even know what he is, but we call him our co-host. But yes, we are missing Johnny the Cigar Baker this evening. Johnny is on his way back from San Diego, and yes, Johnny did what Johnny does. Okay, we already know what Johnny does, so we don't even have to reiterate it. But more or less, we're happy to see you guys back. Last week was my birthday, last Sunday, so we didn't do a show last Sunday, unfortunately. But my wife had amazing things going on. I turned that big 3-1, man. So we had to enjoy the festivities that the wife put out. Otherwise, we won't get those back. So I definitely didn't want to mess that up. But nevertheless, man, it's July 31st. We're back with another segment, man, and today we got a guest, man. We have a story, and I'm gonna tell the story, but I'm gonna wait until he gets on to tell the story. But if you're new to the channel and you're watching from YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell, and give us a huge thumbs up. And if you're watching from Facebook, don't be the only one to have this amazing content at your fingertips. Go ahead and press the share button, create a watch party, get your friends involved. If you're into cigar groups that I'm not in, go ahead and share into those groups as well. We're gonna have an amazing story, amazing show in store for you guys. So I'm really looking forward to it, man. How's everybody's Sundays doing? Go ahead and hit the comment box and let us know how your Sunday is doing. Tell us hey, tell us what's up, tell us shut up, tell us some that we want to hear or don't want to hear. Nevertheless, man, let's go ahead and roll into it, man. So today, 2 weeks ago, we asked a question. We said, who do you want to see on the show? Right? We didn't have people, from Rocky Patel to Steve Saka to you name it. We don't had them, with the exception of a very few. And those will you'll be seeing in the next couple of months. So one that somebody came out and said is like, hey, we want to see a representative from Ashton. So obviously, I don't even know who the owner of Ashton is. That's how secretive he is. I just don't know. I know Andy Green is the vice president of national sales for them, but I don't know the owner of Ashton. As a matter of fact, I'm almost certain that you guys don't even know who the owner of Ashton is, with the exception that he owns Holt's Cigars. So small things, little things like that, we just don't know. So, hey, we got the first best thing, honestly, because the other one is Ghost. We got the first best thing and one of the most, genuine people that I know, and somebody that's truly my friend. You know what I mean? Like me and this guy, we didn't see eye to eye when we first came in, and I think it's safe to say we have personalities of the same. So we just did what alpha men do, and we clash heads. So nevertheless, man, I would love to get Jose. I would love for y'all to give Jose a round of applause. Welcome, because our guest of the honor for today is Jose Ortega from Ashton Cigars. What's up, Jose?
Hello, and thank you. I really appreciate the welcome, those kind words, and I'm just happy to be here with you, man.
Hey, Jose. More or less than anything, I would like to take the time out to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time out. For people that don't know, Jose had really tore up his shoulder a couple months ago and finally did the surgery on Friday. So that's the type of relationship we're dealing with. Anybody else would have been like, yeah, Jack, I'm going to have to call this one quits today. I'm in pain. And honestly, he did tell me that. But, Jose, I appreciate you, more than anything for just taking out the time to come on the show.
I have to say I did consider it at one point. I was not kidding. I was not kidding by any stretch of the imagination. But what I'm finding is that the more that I focus on the things that I'm doing, whether it be watching TV or it be, whatever. Um, it's distracting me from the pain and from the nuisance. This is a great distraction because I mean we've got plenty to talk about. We got plenty of things, like you
Very much
said.
so.
We got our own little stories and histories and stuff that is cool, and
Yeah.
and that's where I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with you, man.
Oh man, we're gonna lock in. We're gonna lock in. So I told you guys, I wanted to say the behind the scenes. So most of the time I give this great story, not even great. It really be like lackluster and half-assed, but nevertheless, I give this story about how I know, my guest or how the guest is and shit. If I don't know him, I make up one. That's no lie. Hey, let's go. We gotta give a round of applause for Andrew, bro. Andrew is he works for Davidas. I don't know if he still does, but he retired from the military, from the Navy. Actually, the best branch in the freaking military. Huya Navy. Retired and finally got his 100% with VA. Man, you deserve a cigar tonight, and make sure you go get your disabled veterans tag too. It got perked. What's up, Darneezy? So anyway, when me and Jose first met, so Jose is actually my rep for Ashton, right? A lot of these guys are out here, doing half-ass shops and stuff like that, whatever. They go through, all these little companies, subsidiary companies, the middlemans to get their product. Well, when you jack, you get courtside people to come to your lounge and do great things. Nevertheless, Jose came in like a freaking lion, and Jack is a lion too, right? So what happens when two lions come meet in the jungle? They're gonna have a standoff for a little bit. They're gonna figure out if they want to kill each other or that they want to like each other, or eventually they learn to coexist and eventually become good friends. So nevertheless, man, me and Jose started off on a very rocky start, and I don't know. Actually, I do know where it started, but man, from that very moment, that conversation in the humidor, man, we just clicked. It just all clicked, and then I'm the one that tell you Jose didn't back down. It was me. I'm like, hey, look, we got to figure this shit out. Like what's going on?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to add something to my story?
I would just I just what I noticed is that it was just a matter of kind of putting the wills out there, right?
Yep.
And one of the things that I think that we both got is a little respect for one another out of it. We understood that we both are willing to stand for what we believe, and then aside from that, we also realize that we're actually on the same side.
Yeah,
and we're pushing against the same the same obstacles, the same stuff. And so finding that your team member has the same type of determination and will is nice.
Yeah,
is nice, and that's what I got out of it.
So from this very moment now, when Jose comes in, it's nothing short from just come in and we're gonna take an order and then he's gonna leave. We purposely set up almost every single time an early morning session from 10 to about 12:30. We open at 12 and just talk, and then we spend about 5 minutes doing an order every single time. But we spend 2.5 hours at minimum just catching up, man. And it's I tell a lot of people, man. I was telling John Converse left. John Converse not left, but he got new territory, right? And I was telling his replacement.
I heard.
Bro.
I'm excited about it though. I'm excited. Look, I love my man Mike. I love my man Mike, and I'm excited for him. But at the same time, I love John, and I don't know. I love running into him in Jacksonville.
Bro, that guy is a freaking character. So we're sitting in the lounge, and I'm telling Cigar Mike, I said, Cigar Mike, I just want to let you know, like, me sitting here and actually having a genuine conversation is something that is not always given, right? Being in the industry, and I don't think a lot of customers know that sometimes these rep relations become very transactional. You know what I mean? Like you're coming there to get an order and or not, or take pictures or check in or whatever the case, to put a check in your box, instead of actually sitting down with the owners. And I'm gonna get to a comment that you said before, but nevertheless, we sat down and I told him, I said, look, me and John and me and you, and it's like a couple more. Like I would sit here and no matter what is on my schedule, if you say, Jack, I'll be in town tomorrow, 2 hours, 2 hour block, let's cut it out. Let's cut it out. And I told him we don't do that for everybody because we already it's just how you click. But
Yes. And
go
it
ahead.
happens like that, and then but it happens like that across the board. And I'm fortunate that I have great relationships with just with everybody actually that I work with. I mean, I've been fortunate, and and there's been time periods where I'm able to build that relationship with this person in let's say in Jacksonville, or that person with in Daytona or whatever it may be, and then it may shift a little bit, so that I can help somebody else
Yeah.
build up their business with us, you know. But it's always symbiotic, and it's always very real with everybody. And so that's the part that I enjoy about what we do, and that's where we sit down and we have our conversations and we catch up, and we it's about coming together, and I love it, man.
Jose, one thing that we forgot to do is I know you. Most people in Florida know you. But what about the person in California, the person in Philadelphia, man? Go ahead and introduce yourself to the world, man.
Well, so my name's Jose Ortega, um, and many of you guys may and will confuse it with Jose Ortega from My Father Cigars, which is my older brother. He's Jose Felix Ortega, and I'm Jose Enrique Ortega. It's happened our entire life. Since we're from Panama. We moved here when I was like 5, and every single time people would call the house, friends, family, whoever, hey, can I speak to Jose? Or do you want to speak to little Jose, big Jose, or old Jose? Because even my dad's got the same name, right?
Wow.
So, but we grew up in North Carolina. I moved down here when I was 19 to Miami, and I pretty much lived my adult life in South Florida. I've done different things. Well, sales really, from computer and networking solutions to pharmaceuticals, to cigars.
Yeah.
And the beauty about the cigars that I've loved is that it's a brotherhood. It's about our society. It's about the people that we get to interact with. It's a beautiful network, um, and it's great people.
So currently, right now, you're the southern. Um,
Yeah, sorry. So
yeah, there you go.
I'm in charge of the sorry, East Coast of Florida. So I'm the Ashton sales representative for the East Coast of Florida, and I manage over 130 different accounts that have direct distribution from Ashton, with all of our products from La Roma de Cuba and San Cristobal to Ashton, our
Yeah.
our our premier flagship brand.
Yeah. So now that we got the fun and always ignoring things out, man. You said that you came here from Panama. Tell me what do you remember about Panama? Because a lot of people don't know Panama. It's actually tobacco grown in Panama.
Well, okay, so there is, and there definitely was a lot more of it at one point.
Hmm.
Um, I wouldn't say that Panama in itself it's a little bit better known for its coffee. Actually, the most
Yes.
expensive coffee in the world is in Panama. So it's got beautiful, productive lands. Especially when you go out towards the west side of it, where it's closer to Costa Rica, in the mountainous areas. That's where all the coffee and things come from. A lot of the produce that Panama has. Panama has a beautiful, beef cattle industry as well. But more than anything else, we're known for the canal, right?
Yeah.
Um, so me personally, I grew up in a very small suburb of Panama. Now it's pretty built up. It's where Mariano Rivera, um, might I say, the best closer in Major League Baseball ever.
Yeah.
Uh, Play the game is from. It's called Chorrera, a little small little town where I grew up the first 5 years of my life with my grandparents. We had chickens and pigs and ducks and stuff in the backyard, mango trees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I grew up eating a lot of natural fruits. I knew what it was like to go pick out your chicken, break the neck, start boiling it so you could pluck it, all that kind of stuff.
Ruthless.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like
Ruthless.
very humble,
Yeah.
very simple, very easy, slow life. And then when we got up to North Carolina, that was very, military life. My dad was in the Marine Corps,
Really?
so yeah, so
Okay.
that's something I'm very proud of
Yeah.
because one that's the reason that we're here. Even though he's a Panamanian national, he came here to join the Marines, and then that's how he was then reunited with my mom and my brother, and I was born. And then we ended up getting stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina, home of Camp Platoon, the
Yeah.
home, the few and the proud.
The Marines. Okay.
Yeah. So, very proud of that. My old man paid his dues, and so it was a different pace, a different language, a different everything, different culture. Um, and things were it was exciting. It was nice. It was a good childhood. I didn't have to worry about much because it's a smaller town, good natured. So I could be naive. I could
Yeah.
be easygoing. That's one of the things that bit me in the butt when I moved down here to Miami
Yeah.
was that I was a little naive. I was a little more easygoing, um, and
There's
I
a bunch
was
of
too good.
savages out there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Now you can't get me like that. But
And Jose, one thing that you talk about, and you kind of skipped over it, and one thing not knowing, seeing Jose in this limelight, and actually knowing Jose from this point, Jose, this is a very humble version of Jose. Jose is the goddamn man, and one thing that he prides himself on is his family. Tell us, the strong connection that you have for your family, bro.
well, my family in itself, when it comes to uh, my father and my mother, I mean, I see now you're gonna go and get me all emotional and shit.
Hey,
Uh,
look, have
but
at it.
look, I'm proud of them.
Yeah,
Uh, they. I think I get my strong will, my drive from their leadership, from what they did in life. To come here without knowing the language, without knowing the culture, without knowing how to make money, without knowing how the system was going to work. Um, and to come here with kids and to figure it all out is a big deal. And I think I saw them struggle. I saw them go through things that I haven't had to go through as
yeah,
an adult. Um, and So yeah, very, very, very connected with all that. I had to do a lot of translating for them. So there was a lot of involvement. I got to see a lot of the struggle where the banks would, the teller might not like it because she can't necessarily speak
mm,
directly with my mom, and she's got a problem with the translation and the language barriers and this, and how people treated them like they were less a lot of times. But look, they persevered. My old man, he retired from the post office, and he owes nobody nothing. He paid his dues, and he gave his children a different opportunity.
yeah,
My brother, my dad was uh, you know, busy working a lot of times. So my brother was a lot of almost a role model, mentor, almost to a point of a father figure, right? And he's big. He's a big deal for me, man. I always bounce things off of him. I'm always reaching out to him. I'm always touching base. I'm always because I think in life you have to have those people that you can really lean on, that you can
hmm
count on, that you can believe in, that have your best interests in mind, right? Because
yeah,
not everybody wants you to do good. Because it's only good if they're providing the success. But if it's
yeah.
success out and around from them, or above them, then it's no good anymore.
Yeah, come on
So
now.
you have to be careful with that.
And,
So
no,
his
go ahead, go
advice
go ahead.
his advice is always solid. It's always for my best interest, right? Nobody else's advice is going to be as solid as his.
No.
So that's where for me, family is always, first. I spend a lot of time with them. When it comes to holidays, birthdays, those are moments to me that are special that you got to make it out for that person. Or whether it be my niece, my nephew, which I spend a lot of time with as well. Now I got a great nephew. You
Yeah,
that's changing my life, man.
yeah. Come on
Uh,
now.
I don't have children, right?
Yeah,
So for me, um, he's he's somebody that I'm gonna get to watch grow in a different place in my life.
hmm
I'm finally at an age where I really like I appreciate that whole mentoring, that whole um, sharing and teaching and watching somebody else do as you guide them so that they can maybe do better than you, right?
big facts, big facts. Jose, I didn't mean to spark that thing, but I know for you, just kind of piecing our conversation together. I know family is very deep, and I think a lot of people don't really understand how that correlates to your determination, your motivation. For you, you grew up seeing somebody that's got it straight out the mud, man. And in the lamest terms, somebody that came as an immigrant, had a goal in mind. When I attained his goal, not only did he successful at that goal, he went and did another goal, and now he just built this livelihood and this reputation that is really it's something I see, especially in the cigar industry. You meet so many different people from Nicaragua, from Honduras, from Panama, from Brazil, from all of these southern countries, and those people that are here, they come with a vengeance. They come to really set the bar and come and get it. And nothing is easy about that.
Well, I think that in this world we all get drive from different things, right? Um, some of us may have been fortunate and been born in a very you know uh, high level of
Prosperous, yeah.
society, yeah, prosperous. The whole your drive is going to come from something else,
Mhm.
But I think for me, where I come from, my drive is really built off of watching, having seen my old man. I mean, I saw my old man go to school after working in construction when he was going from the military to the U.S. Postal Service. In between, he was working construction, and he would work construction at like 5 in the morning. He would leave the house, and he'd get back at like 11 o'clock at night because he was going to night school. You know, and when you see that your old man does that, and then he tells you to mow the yard, you don't question that too much. You're
Mhm.
like, yeah, maybe I do need to get out there and mow that yard. Um, and so the work ethic starts to become part of you and that drive, right? And for me, it's like the legacy, right?
Yeah.
My old man has taken our family from somewhere where he was an orphan from the age of 15, and that type of thing, where he really didn't have a lot of guidance, and so he brought himself to a place where he was able to raise a family. He retired, um, and now to me it's like, okay, well, I need to take my springboard and I need to take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I need to do something else with it, right?
And you're
um,
doing just that too, brother.
so I'm trying. I'm
Yeah.
trying. And with that said, one of the things that I've tried to do is, every year Ashton comes up with a new way of us, attacking the market, developing, the product, and continue to do that. And that's exciting because every year it kind of changes a little bit. It molds into something else, and then you can see it over the course of the I can't believe it. I'm almost at a decade. It'll be 9 years at the end of this
Yeah.
year in December. Um, but now I can see how like through the years it's kind of migrated into what it is, through the different initiatives and things that we've built. So it's been beautiful to be a part of that and to see that, right. It's part of that whole like um, goal setting, being driven through goals and all that. And that's the exciting part of working with a company like Ashton, because they look at the market that way to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But it also, the cigar industry as a whole, it's more of a brotherhood. It's more about, the face to face, the who are you, the friendships, you know, it's about treating people with just sincerity.
Yeah.
I think.
Speaking of cigars, and we kind of transitioned very well into that. What made you get into the whole cigar industry? Like, based off of the story with the family, you didn't grow up in cigars. So what made it, even for your brother, like what made y'all say, okay, this is the industry that we want to lock into?
So the irony of it is that I smoked cigars before my brother.
Oh.
So when I was 19 and I got down here, I got into a party, and this was at the first cigar boom, the real, the first cigar boom. Right?
Just in case the FDA is listening and trying to use this as evidence that kids smoke cigars. What year was that?
I'm thinking like I had moved down here in '97.
Okay, so we're early '90s at this moment.
Yeah. So,
okay, got it.
So I
late '90s. Excuse me.
Late '90s. I'm 19. I'm of age, so legitimately I could smoke.
Yeah, come on now.
And I'm at a party and somebody's handing out cigars like they're making it rain, And so I take one and I light it up, and I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. I like it, but I really didn't know what I was doing. So then a couple months go by. I walk into a cigar shop. I end up getting one. I sit down. I talk to a guy that I want to say Louis was in his 40s, probably 42. But back then, I was young. I was a little kid. So I was like, this old guy, why is he talking to me? He was like, hey, so what are you smoking? So he's trying to make conversation. I'm trying to skirt it.
Get out of the conversation.
I ended up working for that dude, man. Because of the conversation from cigars turned into business, turned into politics, turned into other things. And the next thing you know, that dude ended up hiring me on a different occasion. But I started meeting up with him, and he started mentoring me and started teaching me stuff. And then I ended up working for him. But I stopped smoking for a while, and my brother was the one that got back in. He got to smoking because he started working for Puros Indios.
And at that time,
yeah,
I was too young for that. So
no. I would hope not, because I was already. I'm talking about 2008. 2007, 2009.
I was still in high school.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh man, Jack, you're making me feel old. Old. Am I really that old?
No, you're really that young. Okay. I'm just that old, I guess. So he started working for say it again.
Puros Indios.
Puros
Which,
Indios.
I'll tell you, yes, Puros Indios with I have it on my very good palate to say that was a great Honduran cigar. The Puros Indios, the actual, Puros Indios. I really liked them back then. They were great for me at the time. I enjoyed them. And then that's when I started to get back, and I really wanted to get into the industry. And I was telling my brother, and I was like, man, how can I get back in? How can I get in? How can I and then I tripped on it because I ended up I was working for a pharmaceutical company, and they got bought out.
Pharmaceutical sales that's a very good business.
I was doing good for myself. Doing good for myself. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very grateful for those days. But they got bought out, and they didn't need a sales team down here because they had a sales team in Tennessee, and so they gave us a severance, and I got my money, and I was sitting around at a cigar shop doing some work on, because I do photography from time to time, and I was editing some photos. The owner offered me a job. I started working at the shop, and little by little, I got myself back. I got myself into the world, and then I ended up at the IPCPR in Orlando. This must have been, God.
That's when they actually went different places.
Well, look, man, I'm not gonna get into that because I don't
No,
know.
no, no. They actually just came out and asked us for 2023. Well, no, 2024. Will we like to do it in New Orleans or Vegas? So very high hope that we might be in New Orleans in 2024. Nevertheless, go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay, so I've only been a part of it: Orlando, New Orleans, Vegas.
It was
That's it.
another one. They had an
Memphis,
IPCR. Go
Memphis
ahead.
or Memphis or Nashville. It was one of those two. There's a
I think it was
Tennessee somewhere.
Nashville. I think it was
Yeah.
Nashville.
I was never part of those days. I can't talk about those. That's beyond my years. I have no depth in that. I cannot tell you about it. What I can tell you is that I do think that that when I went to New Orleans, it was a great show. It was fun. A lot more of the East Coast people showed up. When you do it in Vegas, it's West Coast mainly. So you do get a little bit of a different feel for it.
Yeah,
So yeah, man, it'd be nice for it to be somewhere else.
I think it'll be dope, man. I think
Yeah,
it'll be dope. So you talked about you're going into 9 years in the industry. What have you seen develop from the time you started in the cigar industry to now that you be like, wow, I'm glad we were able to do that.
man. I mean, I think just as a whole, the fact that we've been able to stale off the attack from the FDA, we've been able to hold them off a little bit and keep them at bay, and just be able to continue to drive the business and the culture, um, and continue to develop it because it's a beautiful thing. The one thing that really kind of captured me is seeing how the business as a business has changed from being like the grab and go. Um, the grab and go was probably more popular just before I got into the business, right?
Okay.
Um, and then it started going into the lounge. People really like the lounge. Then people started adding some beer and wine here and there. And now, you almost rarely see people really do anything without the beer and wine.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely people are pushing for that, for the
Liquor component.
spirits.
Yeah.
Yes. And they want the liquor compartment. So to me, look, I don't know if it's the right way to go or the wrong way to go. I just find that if you want to be a cigar shop with the real culture, to me, sometimes you want to stick to the cigar
Yeah.
because
Come on now.
the allure of the business side of the liquor, the beer and wine can 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 distract you sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost turn into that type of place, right? But at the end of the day, man, we should welcome it all.
Yeah.
We should be excited that there is anything and everything, that everybody is trying to do something different, because at the end of the day, what it does is it expands the culture, it expands the industry, it expands us, and what we need is more of that, right? Why is it that Budweiser can sustain itself the way it does? It's in every single bar, every single restaurant that exists in America, right? And in the world, probably.
Yeah.
But it's because of distribution. So if
Yeah.
we can create a culture where the consumption or the culture is that cigars are normal, then we're gonna be better off, and that just means more locations, more happening, more people talking about it, more people doing it.
You know what? You talked about something really good, and I think it goes into the growth of cigars. Right now, so back in 97, actually, we're going to take it step by step. You had the cigar boom back in 97 where people started buying cigars, getting more integrated into the craft. And then I would say maybe like 2010, 2011, you started seeing a boom in a different way. And it was still a boom, but it became a boom into the cigar lounges, right? Where you started seeing a
Oh,
lot
of
more.
course.
Yes, you've seen a lot more cigar lounges open up. And now I think, looking at 2020, I think we just came back and we circumvented that wheel and said now we're going through a cigar boom, but instead of one happening this way and one happening this way, they're all moving in the same direction. You're seeing more cigar lounges, you're seeing more smokers, you're seeing more awareness of cigars and the non-health components that the non-vital health components that come with cigars, and we're digging deeper into that type of stuff. So what's your
I
thoughts? Go ahead. Sorry.
no, 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 go ahead, ask your question. I'm sorry.
How do you think? What's your thoughts on the progression of the industry and the magnitude that it is here in 2022?
Well, I think, look, for me, one of the things that has been beautiful is just that, is exactly what you just said, where like you've seen different parts of the industry, kind of outgrow the other part of it, right? Whether it was the lounges or it be the consumers or et cetera, right? At one point we had too many consumers, not enough lounges, not enough cigars, not enough anything.
Yeah.
Then it went to too many lounges, not enough consumers. Then, but the one thing that I got to say is that, and I say this all the time, is that we've been able to support more cigar lounges and more bars and more places that and more brands, okay, and more brands, um, than we ever have,
Mhm.
if you think about it. So the industry is growing somehow, some way,
Yeah.
and that's a beautiful part, man. To me, I don't know, man. I don't know that I'll be in the industry the rest of my life. I'm I don't know when that end will be, but I do know that I will always be a cigar smoker,
Hmm.
right? And what I mean by that is I will always be somebody that when I get together with my good friends that I want to sit back and cut up, I'm gonna light up a cigar because I know that we're telling some stories.
Hmm.
And now we're gonna cut up. And now we're gonna, to me, that's what cigars to me means, right? And I like doing it at the shops whenever I'm in Jacksonville. I like doing it whenever I'm in Miami or if I get the chance to cut up with people, man, that's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's the best. That's what I love about my job.
And I think the passion that's coming with cigars, the ingenuity that's coming with cigars, the creativeness that's coming with cigars is really making it to a part where it's just really growing to something. I mean, I think even Ashton, Ashton is blended by one of the top blenders in the world. You know what I mean? And the focal point of you in 9 years, you got to see, the down moments, the great moments, the not so good moments, the excellent moments in this industry, man.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm grateful because I feel like I was part. I got to see the end of an era in the cigar industry, right? Because yes, you're right. By the way, I'm 100% grateful for one working for Ashton and representing them. I think the brand stands for quality, and when you think about the cigars, everything that we have is, you can tell me that it's not the cigar for you, but it's not, but you can't tell me that it's not a good cigar.
Yeah.
They're all good cigars. Um, but I was able to get into the industry as a cigar rep and really see it from a industry standpoint when Carlos Senior was still around, when Padron was still around, right?
Jose.
Um,
Yeah.
yes, and so to me, um, those were pillars of the industry, right? Very respected individuals, big symbols of what the industry stands for, right? Of that whole like pick yourself up from the bottom to going, to doing what you can to bring your family up and doing it as a family and doing it as a core, right? At the core for the family. Um, and so to me, I got to see that, and of course, they've passed since then, and may they rest in peace. Um, and now you're seeing their lineage take charge of the
Their
respective
legacy.
families,
Yeah.
and they're starting to do what they can to build it, to change it, to mold it. Um, and it's beautiful to see. That in the industry, right? That there is a future, that there is more to come. Because even you look at somebody like Perdomo. Perdomo's got lineage with Nick, and Nick Jr. is going to be an amazing ambassador for the industry. Our company, you know, um, you were talking about not a lot of people know who we are. But let me tell you a little bit
They know
about.
who you are. They don't still know who the owner is.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you, I'm very fortunate to work for the Levin family. Robbie Levin. Well, let me tell you from the very beginning.
Let's do
Albert
it.
Levin, who was the grandfather, owned um, a garment business in Philadelphia. In 1959, he got out of it and bought a cigar shop called Holt's. And at the time, he also bought Tim. And what he did is he combined the two Philadelphia cigar shops into one and just made one big one called Holt's. That was Albert Levin, the grandfather. Robbie Levin starts to get into the business probably about late 70s, early 80s. And that's around the same time that he realizes that, it's wonderful to have the cigar shop, but he really wanted to have a bigger business, something that he could just manage from a bigger scope and be a part of the industry in a different way. So he started to do the Ashton Classic,
Mm.
and it became kind of a house brand that developed in the Northeast, and that's where, for us, the Northeast is really a main staple for our brand. Although at this point now it sells in over 84 different countries, and we're if like I tell people, if you're a cigar shop and you're worth the dime, then you probably have our
Yeah.
product in
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And if you don't, then we should probably be talking about it, or give me a call because I'm gonna put you in touch with the people that can get you the product.
Yeah.
But um, it's great product. So Robbie was fortunate enough to at the time get linked in with Carlos Senior, and Fuente started to make Ashton, and that was right about the mid '80s. 85 is when the company came online, um, and it started to grow. It started to evolve. Um, May he rest in peace. Manny Ferrero was probably one of the most intricate and vital pieces to the puzzle. He was our VP of sales, the original, and him and Robbie were basically the tag team duo. They built the company together for years and years and years. And Manny unfortunately passed in at the TAA in Mexico. From a heart attack, doing what he loved, drinking, smoking, and dancing with his wife.
What?
Um,
I
Swear
didn't
to
know
God,
that. I didn't
swear
know
to God,
that.
yeah. And he had a heart attack and collapsed. But you know, as a company, we they I say we because I'm part of the
Yeah.
company now, but
Absolutely.
so we experienced the loss of such a great piece to the puzzle. But as a family, we came together. That's around the same time that I started with the company, um, and I was able to come in. You could tell the morning was going on, and there was a couple years where it was just kind of like let's let's really focus in on what we need to do to just keep the business going, doing what we need to do. But then soon enough, you saw the little changes. Andy Green became national sales manager. That's around the same time I started to work for the company, and you could see a lot of what Manny had talked about, a lot of what Manny had installed into Andy, plus what Andy could feed into the system really started to take place. And it's just been a great synergy working for Andy all these years and learning from him. Andy knew the business from a retail side because he was in retail. And then he also understood it from the sales side because he was in sales. So it was nice to come into a place where you had a manager who really understood your challenges and what you were going through and stuff,
Yeah.
and could also tell you, well, the retailer's probably thinking this way or sees it this way, so maybe you should present it this way, and maybe
Mm.
you'll get a little bit more success with it. And that's where, from that standpoint, I got to see a lot of that, right? But just the industry as a whole has changed in the sense that you got more cigar makers, you got more people making good cigars, right? There's not a bad cigar out there. Let's be honest. The industry has gotten really good and clean about it. And if you put a bad cigar out there, it cleans you out real quick too.
Real quick.
So and that's the beauty of it. I don't know if I answered your question,
No,
man.
no, you did. You did great, man. And
But
I mean, just
I
bring,
digress a lot.
huh?
I said I digress a lot.
No,
So
no, you did fine. But bringing that into context where you're actually able to, put in, the timeline. And like I said, a lot of people know Ashton. A lot of people know San Cristobal. A lot of them know La Roma de Cuba. A lot of them know of these brands, but they really don't know the story and the fact that the foundation of the company was started and created with somebody that just has such an impactful legacy at this current moment, Carlito Fuentes Sr. That it's just crazy. We're about to see a display of the sons put together something crazy that is in honor of two legends like that genuinely necessarily didn't quite like each other at one point in time because of the competition phase, but being able to kind of put those together in context, man, is just amazing, bro.
Well, I mean, I'm really, like, I'm terrible about that. I don't really know too much about the bad blood or the good blood or whatever it may be, because I'm just terrible about that kind of stuff. But for me, what I can tell you is that it's beautiful to see the industry come together for projects like that. But it's also beautiful to have seen the industry in the way that I got to see it, right? When I first came in, there was the big challenge against the FDA. And I saw the companies really come together and band together. Rocky using his legal knowledge and things like that for litigation, really guiding the CRA and all that. You had Robbie involved. You had George Padron, Carlito, Lido, all the big companies were getting involved and pushing the issue to really drive the message about it not being you know underage people not smoking cigars, right? The issue isn't us. There may be other things that they need to look into or whatever it may be, but the beauty of it is that as an industry, they've been able to band together and come together, and I think that's the beauty of it. It's a very united industry.
Being in the mecca of cigars in Miami, I mean, every single cigar for the most part touches through Miami and gets to wherever it needs to go. And just being in Florida, period. Kind of highlighting and getting to the actual growth aspect of the industry. How are you seeing, consumers consuming product from your standpoint, as well as how do you foresee it, going in the near future?
Well, I mean, I think cigars have definitely gotten stronger throughout the years, right? So I think as far as consumers are wanting things that are more flavorful, more that are a little stronger, a little bit edgier, a little bit maybe a little closer to ruffling their feathers, right? I think that we did see a big, for a long time, bigger ring gauge, bigger ring gauge, bigger ring gauge, bigger ring gauge. And now I'm starting to see a little bit more of like some normal sizes. Me personally, I've always been a Corona guy, man.
Yeah.
I could never get around the whole idea. I mean, from a retail side, yeah, sure, let's put the 660 or the 64, the whatever on the shelf, and we have some good ones that smoke really good, man. The Leviathan, the Colossal, the Odyssey. Those are all cigars that smoke really, really good. The big ring gauge El Jefe, that thing, it rocks, man. People love it because it's a good cigar. It's big, smokes
great. Too.
Yep. And what ends up happening is, but me personally, I like a Corona size. I like something that's a little thinner, a little more traditional. To me, it allows me to do work while I'm holding my cigar in my hand. I don't have to worry about ashing everywhere, and it's just a good, it's a good size for me. And I get to smoke more cigars, so I get to change flavors. I'd rather change flavors than to smoke the same thing for an hour and a half or two.
Yeah,
I'd rather get 2 cigars in there, right?
Yeah. Kind of diving, a little bit deeper into the question I just asked in regards to the growth and, how do we foresee the industry growing when it comes to not only consumers standpoint, but even reps. I mean, I think PCA, we've seen the most boutique brands that I've ever seen. Mind you, it's a small amount of shows that I've been to, but I've ever seen at a trade show at any given time. Are you foreseeing that, like, growth wise? Are you seeing a lot more brands coming out even from your end, or even the development process of Ashton? Are you guys coming out with another, flagship? I know you guys, just went through a whole big rebranding with the La Roma de Cuba brand.
Well, I think the biggest thing with La Roma de Cuba has been the Pasión. I'm smoking one right now, and I
I
can't
think it's
smoke
amazing,
enough
man.
with the gas. I can't smoke enough with these things. So the Pasión, but yes, La Roma de Cuba has been rocking out, man. I mean, like, as a brand, it's been our Nicaraguan brand that's really just taken off. It's got the value, it's got the pricing. I mean the flavor. It's it the Mi Amor was number 2 cigar of the year at one point. So it's got so when you really sit back and you smoke these cigars, they're really rich Nicaraguan cigars. They reach into what the Nicaraguan cigars really stand for. So people really gravitate to them. They like them. So we've been very successful with them. I think, um, yes, the rebranding has definitely helped, um, in the sense that it's just giving it more presence, for people to identify the cigar that they've really enjoyed for a long time. Um, and But I think as a whole, I think definitely Nicaragua is continuing to do what it's doing, man. I mean, it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing. People just continue to look for the Nicaraguan and look for the Nicaraguan, and it's flavorful. It's great. And then I guess just from a consumer standpoint, I think that they are smoking more. They're smoking more across the board, and I think that more consumers are thinking of picking out their cigar for what mood they're in, or what they just ate, or what they just drank, instead of just picking out a cigar just because that's the cigar they've been smoking for the last 5 years. That's the same one they smoke every single time they smoke a cigar. So you're getting a little bit more variety, a little bit more. Um, it's more of like that wine consumption type of thing.
yes,
Thank you to Marvin Shankin and Cigar Aficionado back when they did in the mid '80s come out. They're the ones that created the cigar boom, by the way, originally, because they gave us language, they gave us literature to go together with the smokes. So now you could talk about the coffee aroma and the this and the that, and people started to understand what they were experiencing, and that brought the renaissance on. And that's where I tell shop owners all the time: if you are creating the experience and you're letting people, or you're giving people a way to identify what they are experiencing, now they're going to continue to come back
yeah,
and smoke more, because now they know what they're doing,
yeah.
right? So it's education, man.
So if it's one brand that's out there that Ashton represents, that comes out the Ashton catalog, what is one brand that you should tell, if you, in your own opinion, would say that everybody should at least try? If they have not tried, uh, they need to go get it soon.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, you're trying to tell me one, but I'm just not a one cigar guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, Look, for me, I think that if you like a rich, um, you know, dominant cigar, then go out and try yourself a VSG, man. It's a cigar that's been on the marketplace for a long time, but very, very good cigar, easy to smoke, Dominican, but it's got a little power to it, and that's the beauty of it. From our Nicaraguan stuff, I would tell you, in the La Roma de Cuba line, if you haven't smoked a Mia more lately, grab yourself one. And the Pasión, please, if
Hands
you
down.
if your shop near you does not have one, reach out to me. We're gonna make sure that we try to do something to figure that out, because they need to be out there. These things are amazing, amazing. And of course, in the San Cristobal line, I love the Elegancia, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you why. That's our shade grown Nicaraguan. It's mild, approaching on medium, just beautiful. I really love that with my coffee.
Man, one thing I love about Ashton is just the fact that every single cigar that you really pick up is amazing. I think if it's one that, if I was to answer that same question, I think one that is obviously slept on most is
Yes, yes,
is the Ashton Symmetry, man. The
yes.
Ashton Symmetry. I'm telling you, a lot of people rave about the VSG. A lot of people love the price points of La Aroma de Cuba, but I tell you, the Symmetry. Now, I'm different, right? I smoke every single cigar, but I hate, and I used to be that guy that, man, the fuller the body, the better, blah blah blah. Hell no. Actually, the fuller body, the more turned off I am about the cigar. I want to taste something else that's more than, just pepper nonstop. I want to taste the leather notes. I want to taste the oaky notes. I want to taste those cashew notes. I want to taste those floral, those citrus notes. And I think the Symmetry really does hit that for me. And that's one that I tell you, if you like a medium to full body cigar, man, that is it. You're gonna get the leather notes. You're gonna get the spices, but it's not gonna be overpowering. You're gonna get the citrus notes. You're just
And
gonna
Jack,
get a composed cigar. Go ahead, bro.
Jack, and I'm gonna tell you currently, okay, I could be corrected if I'm, please, please correct me if I'm wrong. But my understanding is that that's still the only cigar that comes out of the Fuente factory that has Nicaraguan tobacco on
Really?
it. It is a Nicaraguan and Dominican blend with an
That's probably
Ecuadorian
why it's amazing, man.
with an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. It's
And
a Rosado.
and one thing I
Beautiful,
noticed too
beautiful cigar.
is when you start mixing those, it always offsets each other. Where your Nicaraguans are more fuller, it's a lot more peppier, uh, uh, peppier, a lot more earth. Then you got the Dominican that brings in the citrus, those smooth oaky notes,
Yep.
those nut notes. I mean, it just really puts together a great cigar. And I I think Fuente is probably, especially with them, announcing that they're going to open up a factory in Nicaragua. I guarantee that they're going to end up having some that's merging a little bit more, because the range of tobacco is a lot different.
Yeah. So it was just a little fun fact that I like to throw out there. I like to tell people, just more than anything else, more because of the fact that it's a three-country blend. Um, that to me is a beautiful thing. Um, you get to experience different parts of what that means when you're smoking the cigar, because it does begin a certain way and it ends a different way. And that's where you start getting into the multi-dimensional cigars, and that's where I'm grateful that our company has, really done well and partnering with the people that we do, because at the end of the day, arguably the best factories in the world. You have Arturo Fuente in the Dominican Republic, which arguably could be the best in the world, and then you have my father's cigars in the in Nicaragua, which make great cigars and could arguably be one of the better ones. So at the end of the day, we're fortunate that the cigars are just bang bang
Yeah.
every single time. So I recommend people just try the whole line, just try everything, because you're not gonna pick up a bad cigar. I mean, the H Maduro, right?
Yeah.
It's a Maduro that people in these days don't even get to even try, because it's not a popular thing to find a mild Maduro like that. But it's an easy Maduro that you could smoke in the morning, at night, whenever, anytime, but it's flavorful, and it gives you that rich Maduro broadleaf, wrapper flavor without giving you that big punch in the mouth. Um, and then but you can just bounce around through the lines, edición especial en aroma de Cuba. That to me is a quintessential cigar. It's just medium full, easy breezy all day. So I'm a big advocate of the Ashton cigars. I'm sorry,
Yeah, absolutely. No, no,
I got
no.
so
As you
sidetracked there.
should be. If you got on here talking about something different, I'd be like, "What the hell you got going on, Jose? You can't do that. You can't. You can't do that, bro."
You know what the
Well,
beauty is? I was a fan of Ashton, La Roma de Cuba, San Cristobal before. So it was more of a, of something where I was able to put myself in a position where I was proud of the product and I could go out and really, share it with people.
Yeah. Well, Jose, man, it's been a pleasure, man. The fact that we can sit on here, I don't know where that's coming from. Oh, my watch, actually. Shut up. Uh, it's amazing that we can sit on here and go 2-3 hours, man. But at the end of the day, I always try to respect my guest time, and locking in, you know, your time and everything else. So with that being said, man, as we wrap up, man, it's one thing that we like to do on the virtual smoke deck, man. Out of all the gems we have already got, what is one gem that you would like to put on the people? It could be about cigars, it could be about family, it could be about grind, it could be about anything. What is one gem that you would like to put out to the people?
I think I just want to share really my little mantra that I've been giving myself. Like I've had different challenges in my life, and right now I'm facing one of the toughest ones where I broke my shoulder. I've had surgery on it finally now. It's gonna freeze up. I'm gonna have to do rehab. It's gonna be. I got a long road ahead of me. We're looking at 8 months, just about, right? But what I always tell myself is that obstacles are there, right? So you identify them, right? So you know that you gotta adapt, improvise, and that's how you overcome. And so to me, I want to leave people with that thought: adapt, improvise, and overcome. You can always figure out
That's
how to
good.
resolve something or anything. Everything has a solution. It's just a matter of sitting back and really thinking it out. Um, and I think that if you just you know invoke that, it's really brought a lot of it's brought me to a good place in my life. How about that?
Yeah.
You know, and I hope that it does that for other people as well.
Adapt, overcome,
Improvise, adapt,
improvise, adapt, and overcome, man. There you got it. Adapt,
improvise,
improvise,
and
and
overcome.
overcome. Hey, dead ass, like that right there is truly something that people should always put. I always tell. I got three words that I always throw out there when it comes to just life: dedication, motivation, and persistence. And the ability to adapt, overcome, and improvise is exactly on to it, man. You gotta be able to do that in life. Otherwise, every time you get met with a crossroad, you're gonna hit that mug full speed, and you already know what happens when you hit something full speed. I.e., a car, i.e., trying to play basketball.
Listen, I
I
wish the story was that good. I wish I could say that I was playing volleyball or something, but I literally
we
tripped
said
on
we was gonna stick
uneven
to a
pavement.
story, man. We're gonna
Oh,
we're gonna come out with a better story. We talked about this already.
yeah. Okay, all right.
You
I'm
can't
throwing myself under the bus.
you can't do your old man I slipped and fell type crap. That is not good. That is not a good story, Jose.
You know,
I
no.
slipped and I fell, and I tell old people all the time, man, why y'all always slipping and falling? And y'all, when you slip and fall, you never just like get up. You're like, I broke my hip, I hurt my butt, and my buttocks bone. Like it's always some
Uh,
crazy shit that happens when you slip and fall.
Jack, no lie. What literally came out of my mouth was, "Oh, my shoulder. Oh, my shoulder." And I swear to you that I sat there for a second. I was like, "Okay, I gotta catch myself." I saw stars, man.
Oh
I saw
my
stars.
god,
It,
yeah,
it,
shit, you broke your freaking
yeah, man.
shoulder. Like you know how close that is to your
Yeah.
collarbone.
Well, I broke the scapula, which is the shoulder blade, but the surgeon, after the surgery said, "Jose, yours is probably one of the worst ones, man, that I've seen. So just know that we were able to repair it. It looks like it moved, and I swear to you, the way that it's been feeling, he must have moved this thing and worked me out for like a week. Because every single time that I even try to do anything, it just hurts. It screams. So that's why you've seen me. I've just kind of stayed here. I haven't moved, and that's the way I'm gonna be for a little bit. But I
Don't
appreciate
slip
it,
and
man.
fall again.
No, never again. No, sir.
Well, Jose, we appreciate you taking the time out to come on the virtual smoke deck, man. It's always a pleasure. I love talking to you, man, and just experiencing, life with people that is already experienced and then doing great things is always makes life that much easier. So I appreciate you taking the time out, man. Stay in the room, man. I'll be back with you as soon as we get off because we got business to take care of.
All right, brother.
All right. Hey, man. One thing that I miss about interviews the most is the fact that we can get back to the real roots of the virtual smoke deck. The virtual smoke deck was never intended to be this podcast that is simply, the gander of what everybody do in podcasting when it comes to herfs and different things of that nature. Being able to sit back and actually talk about business, talk about family, talk about things that encourage you, motivated you has always been the pinnacle of the virtual smoke deck. And every freaking single week, you guys show up and you guys just make sure we feel welcome in here. And you guys are the reason why we are able to, sit down and talk with, Jose and the different people we have had on the virtual smoke deck, because y'all are making this thing well known, man. So I appreciate you guys so much. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell, and give us a huge thumbs up. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and hit the like button as well. And if you're watching from Facebook, man, Facebook has really made it easy for you to stay in tune with what we got going on. We have gotten to the point where we like to spontaneously put the stuff out on Sunday. That way, you are more caught off guard about who we're gonna have on. And just get more excited about it. So, man, I appreciate you guys on Facebook for watching. All you guys, all the groups out there, man. We share this thing to about, I don't know, 50 something groups, man. And you guys always show up and show out for us every single time. So I appreciate you guys so much. With that being said, man, I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast. I enjoyed this evening. Next week, we are back with another segment, man. And I think it's going to be a me and Johnny segment. So that shit going to be crazy. With that being said, man, I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast. I'll see you guys next week. I'm gone.